right, hey, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four winds of the earth that believe wholeheartedly in the true doctrine that is being pushed throughout the four winds of the earth for an hope of mercy and salvation. Right during the time of Jacob's trouble, as well as when Yahweh Shai returns to the planet Earth. To you and to you only, I say Shalom, and may Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai continue to rain down grace and mercy upon you and your household. All right, hey, Shalom, Shalom, to the brothers tuning in. Baba Bashar, if you can let me know if the sound is good. I'm trying out this app that I saw Elder Manata Zakba using to go live. The water. Well, yeah, as you can see, Jake is in transit per usual, and I had to get something on wax, man. You can see in the title, he will lead you to your end, and I got a couple of videos I'm gonna play, but you won't be able to see them. You'll be able to hear them. One is from Democracy Now, and then I have two from Economist Economist Warning, and I think that's the one Apostle Tahar had used in the video he did. And this Economist channel, which I'll play those videos, and you'll hear, because what we're hearing is Esau, Edom, and not only Esau, Edom, but the other nations complaining of what Mystery Babylon is doing. All right, led by Nero 47. Okay, and this is why I entitled it, "He will lead you to your end." It's kind of a spin off of the movie Apocalypto, where the diseased child is basically, the spin I got it from, the child in the movie, when she prophesied to those cats in the movie. She told them, the man with the jaguar shall lead you to your end. All right. So I basically took a little twist off of that and applied it to Nero 47 and his actions he's doing here in these last days. Beginning of 2026, we've all seen this man, they basically bombed Venezuela, which is pure wickedness, and they kidnapped Maduro and his wife, all under the guise of, as they call it, drugs. But we all know, what it's really about. And even Edomites know, American citizens know, the other nations know. The whole world knows what this man is up to. The gig is up. And this is why I entitled it, "He will lead you to your end." All right? This definitely has to be the last president. All right? And this is the we on the last leg of Babylon the Great. All right? Based upon the actions, based upon the small hats, because right after that, uh, uh, you had Nate Rothschild. I believe it was Nate Rothschild. He tweeted, uh, "Job well done, Nero 47." All right, and we know that there's no Federal Reserve Bank in Venezuela. Okay, they basically have been operating without the Federal Reserve, and this is why going back a few years back, we would see those videos of them, basically the U.S. put them sanctions on them because they didn't want to sell their oil in the petrodollar, and basically the U.S. tried to destroy them by putting the sanctions on them, but they survived it. They survived by selling their oil in different currencies. Not only different currencies, but they sold it for food and for different commodities that the world could offer, and so they survived it. Right? They survived the sanctions that the Babylon the Great had put on them, thinking that they would destroy their economy, but they didn't. And that's how much oil they have. I think it's around 303 billion uh, barrels of oil or oil reserves that they are sitting on, which is the largest in the world. Okay, and Nero 47, he been talking about going in there for the longest. Okay, so now they went in there and they did what they did, and now the whole world is, has reacted to it. In like China said, they got 72 hours to release Maduro. Uh, Russia is over there. Um, um, they sent the fleet. They've sent a guided fleet of some sort. Don't quote me on it. I was listening to all kind of videos. So basically, the whole world is on high alert. Everybody is in everybody standing on their square, so to speak. Okay, and it's gonna continue to get worse and worse. It ain't gonna get better. All right, because we at the end. And Baba Kushar, the scriptures I quote, if brothers can throw them in the comment section. All right. The first one is Micah 2, Micah the second chapter, verses 1 through 2, and I believe 3 as well. All right, because this is what this man is doing. All right, he divides iniquity and he covets fields and take them by violence, man. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture, and that's exactly what he did, rolling up in Venezuela. All right, he's been coveting that oil. All right, because that's the only way the petrodollar is going to be able to survive, is if the nations continue to use the petrodollar as the world reserve currency, which to trade in. And while the sanctions was on Venezuela, the whole world watched Venezuela survive those sanctions by trading that oil in different currencies and for food and different commodities, precious metals and whatnot. All right. So you had, and this is where you started to have different nations start to follow suit, right? And Nero 47 was given the go ahead, like, look, we can't have this. You need to go in there and make something happen, and that's exactly what he did. and the whole world knows what's up, what the deal is, man. So without any further ado, I'm gonna play this video, the first video, which is Democracy Now. Okay, which shows you that everybody knows what time it is, man. All right, as the scripture says in Job 9:24, right? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And so the whole world is seeing that this man is the devil, which they've already seen it, but he's to the point to where they getting ready to draw the line in the sand on his ass, man. All right. So let me play this video. And Baba Kushal, let me know if the sound is good.
Stupid. That's part of the headline of a new piece by our first guest, Mehdi Hassan, the founder. It's all about the oil, stupid. That's part of the headline of a new piece by our first guest, Mehdi Hassan, the founder of the online news site Zateo. In the piece, Hassan details how President Trump's repeatedly admitted that gaining access to Venezuela's oil was a key reason why the U.S. attacked Venezuela Saturday and kidnapped President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. On Monday, Maduro and his wife pleaded not guilty to federal charges in a New York courtroom. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. This is part of what President Trump said on Saturday, ahead of the attack on Venezuela, something he did not do for members of Congress.
Spoken with the oil companies about going into Venezuela?
I have.
Which one? Have you received any commitments?
All of them.
Any commitments from the oil companies?
They want to go in so badly.
Did you speak to them before the operation?
So this devil, he briefed the oil companies, but he didn't brief Congress on what he was getting ready to do. This man he's doing whatever the hell he wants to do. All right, which is a beautiful thing because it's continuously bringing forth prophecy. All right, he briefed the oil companies before he briefed Congress on what he was getting ready to do. All right.
Took place about, did you maybe tip them off about what was
Before
coming?
and after. And they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela. And they're going to represent us well.
On Monday, oil company stocks surged in value. Paul Singer, a billionaire who's a top donor to President Trump, is set to profit immensely since his investment firm purchased Citgo, the U.S.-based subsidiary Venezuela state-owned oil company, for $5.9 billion. The Venezuelan government estimates Citgo's value at $18 billion. On Monday, the United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting on the U.S. attack. Venezuela's ambassador to the UN, Samuel Moncada, said Venezuela's targeted due to oil and energy resources.
Venezuela es víctima de estos ataques por razón de sus riquezas naturales.
Venezuela is a victim of these attacks as a result of its resources, imposed governments, or redesigned states. We are faced with the logic that refers to the worst practices of colonialism and neocolonialism. Accepting this logic implies opening the door to a profoundly unstable world, where countries with greater military capabilities can decide by force the political and economic destiny of other states.
Joining us now is Mehdi Hassan.
And that's Esau, man. Again, I quoted the scripture Micah 2, and then also Psalms 36, right? Psalms 36 basically states the same thing when you go to the 4th verse. You can really read 1 through 4, okay? Okay? This man is the violent man of the planet Earth. Not only Psalms 36, but then you can get Psalms 36. You can get Habakkuk, of course, the 2nd chapter. Okay. All right, he don't keep at home. This is the devil Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has created. And years ago, man, the apostles used to say this. It's gonna come a time to where this man gonna show his horns. All right, and I believe we in that time to where this man's showing his horns. He's showing that he's the devil, man. I was listening to Elder Ainap and Elder Ibad earlier this morning when I was on my way back, and they played at the end of the video. They played Elam. Elam was saying, basically said, they said they're gonna bring stability to Venezuela, and Elam said that's like the devil reading the Bible. See, the whole world is waking up to the fact that this man is the devil the Bible speaks of, and eventually, as it states in the book of Job, I believe that's the 5th chapter. It's either 5 and 12 or maybe the 12th chapter. That the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, right? And he shall be chased out of the world. So every move these devils make, the Most High is countering them. On the other hand, with the other nations, and of course prophecy. Okay, because this devil he's moving proud, like he's just finna take over the whole earth and enslave everybody with that MOTB system. All right, that he's already got in place, and he really believes that he gonna chip everybody, man. All right, now I'm gonna play more of this video because now they're gonna show a portion of this Stephen Miller, what he said, all right, about what Nero 47 did. And they basically saying, look, we own that now. All right, they strong on Venezuela, and look, we own that, we run that, and we're gonna do what we want. We're gonna do what we want with it. All right. That ain't the devil, who is, man? As the scriptures say, if not, where and who is he? Okay? And the prophets have been saying this for the longest. Okay?
Editor-in-Chief and CEO of Zateo. Thanks so much for joining us again, Mehdi. Why don't you start off with the title of your piece? It's all about the oil, stupid. Or to be exact, yep. It's all about the oil. Talk about what happened, your response to the abduction of the Venezuelan president and his wife, the charging yesterday, what the Trump administration has said he is guilty of doing, actually didn't jive exactly with what he was charged with. But then what all this means as Trump talks about narco trafficking, but also what? Mentioned 25 times in his press conference afterwards, talked about the word oil.
Yeah, good morning, Amy. Thanks for having me. I wrote that piece on Saturday in a hurry at 7 a.m. when I woke up and saw the news that the U.S. had attacked Venezuela. And I pulled together, it's a list of Trump comments, basically, from the past few months and years. I went back to 2019, and Andrew McCabe, who was FBI deputy director, he wrote in his memoir in 2019, The Threat. He quotes Donald Trump saying in government during his first term, the country we should be invading is Venezuela. They're right next door and they have all that oil. Trump was thinking about Venezuela's oil long ago, even during his period in the wilderness between 2020 and 2024. He did rallies where he spoke about, if I was still in charge, we would have Venezuela's oil. And of course, he spent much of December, just before the New Year's, talking about we want our oil rights back. Our oil was stolen from us. All BS, nonsense, lies. Said Venezuela took our oil, we want it back. They need to return it, he said. They took an oil tanker, he said, we're going to keep the oil. So I put that all together in a quick piece on Saturday, thinking people are going to attack me as they did in 2003, when people like you and me, Amy, were saying, it's about the oil. Iraq was about the oil. But in those days, the people in power pretended it wasn't, right? George Bush, Dick Cheney, and others, they said it was WMDs. They said it was democracy. They said it was Al-Qaeda. They at least pretended
that it wasn't about the oil. Trump, as you just pointed out, has spent the last 3 days non-stop telling us it's about the oil. So you have all these people on the right and in the center, saying the sophisticated analysis is it's not about the oil, that's a conspiracy theory. And then you have Donald Trump comes out, as usual, throws them all under the bus, says, no, it's about the oil. He just can't stop talking about the oil. Every time he's asked about anything, he says, well, let's talk about oil. And as you pointed out, oil company stocks are up. He gave oil companies a heads up that he didn't give members of Congress per the Constitution. If you go back to the election campaign, Amy, in Florida, at Mar-a-Lago, he hosted a bunch of oil company executives and said, give me $1 billion and I'll help you all out. He's helping them out. He's enjoying himself. This is what he likes. He's not actually done a full regime change. He's kept the Maduro government in place, Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, in place, as long as she plays ball on the oil. He's made that very clear. So this was about oil. It was never about narco-terrorism or drugs. This is the same president who pardoned the former president of Honduras just a few weeks ago, who was convicted in an American court and imprisoned for bringing 400 tons of cocaine into the country. It's not about democracy. This is a president who loves dictators, his pals with Middle East and Asian and African dictators, loves Kim Jong-un. And this wasn't about, running a cartel. The indictment that said that Nicolas Maduro was the head of a cartel, the cartel of the Suns, as you pointed out earlier, De La Solis. It's a completely made-up cartel, as experts have said for years. I said it in my piece on Saturday, and now they've dropped it. Classic Trump administration. Whether it's someone that ICE is taking or some foreign leader that they've kidnapped, when they come in front of a judge, have the United...
These devils got some goddamn nerve, man. And I'm so glad, but at the same time, man, again, Job 9:24, all right? They've been given power over the earth. Matter of fact, Genesis, the 27th chapter, when Isaac blessed Esau with the sword, okay? And he told him, by thy sword shalt thou live. And this is him using that blessing on the earth. All right, he's using that blessing on the planet Earth. Right now, it's on Venezuela. He said in a couple of days, it could be Greenland, because Greenland's sitting on minerals as well. And then they bombed Iran. Okay. So they exercising that sword that was given them as a blessing from our forefather Isaac, all right, which is Yahweh Shai in the reincarnation, okay? And that's in Genesis, the 27th chapter, all right? That was what he's doing, is exercising his blessing that he was blessed with in the beginning, all right? But he's getting ready to lose that blessing real soon, but the Lord is going to allow him to go ape shit crazy with it in these last days. I saw one of the brothers put Revelation 12:12 on the comment board. All right, and they don't care if you know what they own. The playbook is wide open. They still gonna run the same play, and they gonna get in front of the world and speak proudly as they are doing. Okay. It is what it is. We here, but he shall lead you to your end. You Edomites, your end is very nigh, man. Okay, let me back it up just a little bit so you can hear this proud demon Stephen Miller.
He said on CNN.
By definition, we are in charge because we have the United States military stationed outside the country. We set the terms and conditions. We have a complete embargo on all of their oil and their ability to do commerce. So for them to do commerce, they need our permission. For them to be able to run an economy, they need our permission. So the United States is in charge. The United States is running the country during this transition period.
So that's Stephen Miller. We are in charge.
The U.S. is running that country, i.e. Venezuela, during the transition period. They in charge. If they want to deal commerce, they gotta get permission from these Edomites. Okay?
Bluetooth disconnected.
They need to be taken out the power seat. And that's exactly what's gonna happen, man. All right? Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, man. Verses 5 through 9. Okay? Habakkuk 2, 5 through 9, man. He is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home. That's this damn white man, man. Okay? Now let me get this other video. Now that wasn't the whole video, but it's on Democracy Now! If you want to listen to the whole video, Lord will, once I'm done streaming this, I'll put the link in the description box. But let me get to this other video. All right? Let me get to this other one real quick, because this is a good one too. This is this is from the YouTube channel Economy Rewind. All right.
Here's the big secret about women.
Excuse me.
We want you
It's a damn
to flirt with
commercial,
us.
man.
We even want you to get sex.
January 2026.
All right, now we at the we dealing with the Economy Rewind video, and the title of this one is the Venezuela PSYOP. How a rumor just broke the petrodollar. Now I'm gonna let this one play a little bit, because he goes in this whole 30 minutes, but I'm only gonna let the first maybe 5-6 minutes play. Okay.
January 2026. For several hours, the world stopped. A claim circulated, not confirmed, not verified, just fragments moving through financial networks, diplomatic cables, and social media. The claim was simple and devastating. U.S. key special forces had captured the president of Venezuela. No official statement from the White House, no footage, no independent confirmation, just whispers, leaks, headlines without attribution. The kind of information that moves faster than facts ever could. And yet, within 2 hours, the global reaction was extraordinary. Oil futures spiked $11 per barrel in electronic trading. Latin American governments issued emergency statements demanding clarification. China's foreign ministry called an unscheduled press briefing. Russia requested an emergency UN Security Council session. Across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, one question echoed in every foreign ministry and central bank. If this can happen to Venezuela, even if we are not sure it happened, who is next? Let me be very clear about what I'm saying here. I do not know if U.S. forces actually captured Maduro. You do not know. The world does not know. But here is what matters. For several hours in January 2026, the entire global financial system, every oil exporter, every emerging market, and every country that has ever considered moving away from the U.S. dollar believed it could be true. They believed it was plausible. They believed it fit the pattern. And that belief, that moment of fear, changed everything. Because when the mere rumor of a U.S. military operation to enforce the petrodollar is enough to send shockwaves through global markets and accelerate de-dollarization strategies across 40 countries, the rumor becomes more important than the truth. Perception is reality, and the perception in January 2026 was that the United States will use military force to prevent countries from leaving the dollar system. Whether it happened or not is almost irrelevant. The fact that everyone thought it could happen tells you everything you need to know about how the world views the petrodollar. It is not an economic arrangement anymore. It is an enforcement system, and that changes everything. In this video, I'm going to show you why Venezuela became the fault line that broke the global financial order. I'm going to show you how 25 years of escalation, from Chavez to sanctions to forced de-dollarization, created the...
Like I said, he goes in and bringing the history out on this oil in Venezuela. He goes in, man.
Bluetooth disconnected. Bluetooth connected.
Salakia.
It's like a wrecking ball. I am going to show you the immediate impact, or I'm going to show you how 25 years of escalation, from Chavez to sanctions to forced de-dollarization, created the conditions where a single unconfirmed claim could crash through markets like a wrecking ball. I am going to show you the immediate impact: oil up 14%, the yuan surging, capital flight from dollars, and I am going to show you what happens next. Because the world just saw that the dollar system is maintained through the threat of force. And once you see that, you cannot unsee it. This is not financial advice. This is an analysis of how an information shock, real or manufactured, just accelerated the collapse of the petrodollar by creating the perception that leaving the dollar system is an act of war. And perception in financial markets is all that matters. To understand why a single unconfirmed claim about Venezuela had the power to move global markets and accelerate geopolitical realignment, you need to understand what Venezuela represents. Not just a country, a symbol, a warning, a test case. Venezuela sits on 303 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. That is the largest in the world, more than Saudi Arabia's 298 billion, more than Canada's 168 billion, more than Iraq, Iran, Russia, Kuwait. If you added up the oil reserves of Norway, the United States, and Mexico, you would still have less than Venezuela. At $80 per barrel, Venezuela's oil reserves are worth $24.2 trillion. That is the size of the entire U.S. stock market, sitting underground in one country. This is not a minor oil producer. This is a cornerstone of global energy supply. For 70 years, Venezuela was fully integrated into the petrodollar system. PDVSA, the state oil company, was supplying over 1.5 million barrels per day to U.S. Gulf Coast refineries in the 1990s and 2000s. This oil was refined into gasoline that powered American cars. It was paid for in U.S. dollars. Those dollars went back to Venezuela, and Venezuela used them to buy U.S. goods, U.S. Treasury bonds, and U.S. weapons. The money circulated back into the U.S. financial system, classic petrodollar mechanics. But Venezuela was not just an oil supplier. It was a founding member of OPEC. It had influence. It had diplomatic weight. When Venezuela spoke about oil policy, the world listened. And when Venezuela decided to challenge the petrodollar, the world watched. The challenge began in 1999 when Hugo Chavez was elected president. Chavez was not a Western-educated technocrat. He was a former military officer who ran on a platform of economic nationalism and anti-imperialism. He looked at Venezuela's oil wealth and asked a very simple question. Why are we selling our most valuable resource exclusively in U.S. dollars to U.S. companies? Why are we locked into a system that gives the United States control over our economy through currency and debt? Chavez began making moves, small at first. In 2000, he visited Iraq, which was under U.S. sanctions, and shook hands with Saddam Hussein on international television. He announced barter deals, oil for goods, no dollars involved. In 2001, he passed a hydrocarbons law giving Venezuela majority control over oil projects. U.S. companies like ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips had operated in Venezuela for decades. Chavez told them, accept minority ownership or leave. Most left. In 2005, Chavez began selling oil to China under long-term loans for oil deals. China loaned Venezuela $50 billion for infrastructure. Venezuela repaid the loans by shipping oil to China. No dollars, just oil and infrastructure. By 2010, China was buying 500,000 barrels per day from Venezuela, all outside the dollar system. By 2008, Chavez was openly calling for the end of the dollar as the global reserve currency. He gave speeches at the UN proposing a new currency for Latin America called the sucre. He built alliances with Iran, Russia, Bolivia, Ecuador, Nicaragua. He was constructing an anti-dollar bloc, and the United States watched and calculated and decided this could not continue. The U.S. tried regime change the soft way first. In 2002, there was a coup attempt. Chavez was briefly removed from power. The U.S. denied involvement, but later documents confirmed the CIA provided support to coup plotters. The coup failed. Chavez was back in 48 hours. The U.S. tried again in 2004 with a recall referendum, funded the opposition, used NGOs and media, failed again. Chavez won with 59%. So the U.S. escalated to economic warfare.
If you want to look clever, read books. If you want to actually be smart and take the leadership, train your memory. Just 15 minutes of intelligence.
If we cannot remove him politically, we will destroy the economy until the people remove him. Chavez died in 2013. Nicolas Maduro took over and continued the same policies, strengthening ties with China, deepening barter trade with Russia and Iran, moving oil sales out of dollars, and the U.S. economic warfare intensified. In 2017, the Trump administration unleashed total financial war. They banned U.S. companies from buying Venezuelan oil, cutting off $13.7 billion in annual revenue. They froze $7 billion in Venezuelan government assets held in U.S. banks. They prohibited insurance and shipping services for Venezuelan oil tankers, making it almost impossible to export oil even to other countries. They banned the sale of...
And this is Esau trying to cripple them. as you if you paying attention to what he's saying. All right, but they survived it, even though they caught hell. The people of Venezuela was catching hell behind it, but they survived it because they still traded and bartered their oil to different countries in other fashions. All right. Hey man, what's scripture just came to mind? St. John 10:10, right? The thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. If he can't control it, he gonna take it. If you can't be so-called uh, diplomatic, for lack of a better word, with this devil, if you can't get on what he want to do with your shit, that's how I say this man is the real gangster of the planet, right? Here it is, you sitting on your land, all right. In this case, the tribe of Asher, they sitting on gold mines worth of oil, as well as precious metals and things of that nature. But Esau, Edom say, well, look, this how we gonna do it. We in control of it, and if you don't want to get down how we want to get down, we gonna roll on you. And that's this man's MO. Again, like I quoted Genesis 27, man. He's been doing this the whole time he's been in goddamn power, man. He's been exercising his birthright that was given, not his birthright, but his blessing that was given to him. Okay? That's what he's been doing. And now the whole earth is seeing him all at once. Like, man, this motherfucker been doing this for the longest. All right? The whole earth is seeing that he's a cancer and he's the virus of the planet. All right? And real soon, Yahweh Shai is gonna come with that antivirus and delete his ass. Clean him right up out of here, man. Okay? So let's play a little bit more.
Spare parts and technology to PDVSA, causing Venezuelan oil production to collapse from 2.4 million barrels per day in 2016 to 500,000 barrels per day by 2020. The U.S. called this sanctions. But what it really was expulsion. Venezuela was being forcibly ejected from the dollar-based global economy, and Venezuela had no choice but to adapt. Here is what Venezuela did. They sold oil to China in yuan. By 2025, China was buying 600,000 barrels per day, $16.4 billion per year, $0. They sold oil to India in rupees, 200,000 barrels per day, $5.5 billion per year in rupees. They created barter systems with Russia and Iran, oil for wheat, oil for gasoline, oil for machinery. No currency at all. They negotiated with Turkey, with Cuba, with Nicaragua to accept bolivars or yuan or direct goods exchange. By 2025, approximately 850,000 barrels per day of Venezuelan oil, nearly 90% of their production, was being sold in non-dollar currencies or barter arrangements. That is $23.2 billion in annual oil sales completely outside the US dollar system. Venezuela had been severed from the petrodollar, not by choice, but by force. But here is what the US...
You see that? So the Most High had Esau in the trick bag, all right? Venezuela was still able to eat, even though they were cut out of the world trading system, all right, which is the petrodollar. They were cut out of it, but the Most High still allowed them to eat, okay, which ultimately had Esau furious, and this is why he's on this tear that he's on right now, all right? This is why, oh, that's our oil. Woo, woo, woo. This ain't your goddamn oil, man. All right. So the Most High cornering this devil by allowing Venezuela to still operate in barter, as well as sell in different currencies their oil. Okay. And they survived all those sanctions. And this is what forced the hand of them to going in there and straight up taking it. Meanwhile, these other superpowers had already built these relationships with Venezuela. All right? They had already built these relationships, so now they're going to have to deal with the rest of the world. The Most High is the master at chess, man. Okay? He's a master. And these devils really think that they in the power seat, that they in the driver's seat, and they controlling everything, man. You gonna run your ass right into the king of terrors, man. Like the scriptures tell you, terror shall make him afraid on every side, and it shall drive him to his feet, right? And he gonna be staring at the king of terrors real soon. Okay? Because he really believed that he's in control. When he's not in control, the Lord has just been playing chess with your stupid ass. All right? And Nero 47 will lead you Edomites to your end, which is nuclear destruction. All right? That's what's coming. I'm going to play a little bit more. And one more scripture that came to mind is Revelation, the 17th chapter, 16, 17, and 18, the last three verses. All right? They're on the allies of America. All right? Babylon the Great. They gonna hate this bitch. They already showing signs of it. Okay? Here it is, this damn dude, Nero 47, is talking about bum rushing a NATO ally. All right? A EU ally, which is Greenland. Okay? And then I believe the article, I think it's article, what's the article? If one NATO nation is attacked, then that means all NATO nations have to come against the attacker, which will be Babylon the Great, which will fulfill Revelation the 17th chapter. And trust and believe you me, the Most High is going to make these devils fall into their own goddamn trap, man. They going into Greenland. All right? And when they go into Greenland, I believe it's Article 5, if I'm not mistaken, for NATO. If one NATO nation is attacked, that means the other NATO nations have to get involved and get after the aggressor, get after the attacker. Okay? And these devils is so goddamn proud, they talking about it wouldn't be no NATO without the U.S. And this is why Revelation 17 and 16 and 17 and 18 is written. These shall hate the whore and shall make her naked and burn her with fire. Okay? So I'm going to play a little bit more. We're going to get ready to close it.
Not anticipate. By forcing Venezuela out of the dollar system, they created a model. They proved that it was possible to survive, even thrive, outside the petrodollar. Venezuela's economy was devastated by sanctions, yes. Hyperinflation, yes. But the country did not collapse. Maduro did not fall.
We saw that. We witnessed that happen years back. We saw the hyperinflation. We saw the starvation that they were going through. The people were catching hell behind that. Right? We saw that years ago. I remember that, man. You know, the prison system, prisoners basically committing cannibalism. This was all because of the sanctions that Babylon had put on Venezuela years ago. But they survived it. All right? And since they survived, Esau said, fuck it, man. We got to go in there and we just got to take full control. Meanwhile, they done built these relationships with the rest of the world and these different superpowers. Okay?
And oil kept flowing to China, to India, to anyone willing to accept non-dollar payment, and other countries watched and learned. If Venezuela can survive outside the dollar system, maybe we can too. If the US is going to weaponize the dollar through sanctions, maybe we should reduce our dollar exposure before we are the next target. Russia watched. After 2022, when the US froze $300 billion in Russian reserves, Russia went all in on non-dollar oil sales. Rubles, yuan, barter, 5 million barrels per day, $137 billion per year, all outside dollars. Iran watched. Already under sanctions for decades, Iran formalized yuan-based oil sales to China. 1.5 million barrels per day, $41 billion per year, no dollars. Saudi Arabia watched. And in 2023, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said publicly that Saudi Arabia was open to selling oil in other currencies.
Stripe and Square are quietly skimming 3 to 4% of every sale you make. It's basically a silent.
By January 2026, Venezuela was not an outlier. It was the leading edge of a global trend. An estimated 18% of global oil trade, approximately $493 billion annually, was occurring in non-dollar currencies. The petrodollar was not dying slowly, it was hemorrhaging. And then came the claim, January 2026. The exact date is unclear because nothing was officially confirmed. But at some point in early January, information began circulating through financial and diplomatic channels. The claim was that U.S. Special Operations Forces had conducted a mission in Venezuela and captured President Nicolas Maduro. He had been detained under a 20 U.S. federal indictment for drug trafficking and was being held in U.S. custody. No official White House statement, no Pentagon briefing, no footage of the operation, just fragments. A Bloomberg term.
And that's what happened, all right? That's exactly what happened. But the lead up to it is the info. It's because the world saw how Venezuela survived the sanctions,
Bluetooth
and they started to follow suit.
Connected.
They followed suit. So the so-called white man, he saw Edom. He said, "Fuck it, man. We just got to go in there and strong arm it." All right, and that's what they're doing, and that's why you had Steve Miller say what he say. Look, we in charge now. I want to distribute it, which they want the world to buy it in petrodollars. But China, they've been buying it in yuans. All right, multi-million barrels a year. Right. Same with the different countries that was mentioned in the video. So now they finna Esau Edom think he finna go in there and flip all the doing of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, cornering this goddamn devil and end. All right. What Lonzo say in Training Day? Shit is chess, not checkers. Right? That's what this is. The Most High is playing these devils, man. And they truly believe that that they're in charge, but they're not. And so they okay? So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ratazah, I remember, and I'll place those links in the description box if you want to go check out the whole videos, which both videos are great videos, to give you some education on the oil, and so you can actually see the Most High in work, the Most High working, man. Okay, and these devils really think that they got they don't have the upper hand, man. The Lord got them, and they don't even know it. Okay, the pride of thine heart have deceived these devils in a major way. Okay, so with that, hey, the water to you brothers for posting the scriptures up, as I was calling them, and the scriptures that you just contributed. Hey, the water. And again, Lord will, this was edifying to the hopeful elect, giving all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and we on to the next. Shalom.